NFL, we got what you need. Hit the touchdown, I'm yelling, show me some TDs. Ayy, run that play from the running back to QB. Ain't talking about bikini, yelling, show me some TDs. Ayy, way more than a fantasy football podcast like you never seen. Check the stats, I'm only speaking facts. If I catch an L, we gotta run it back. Ayy, fantasy football, this what you need. Hit the touchdown, we yelling, show me some TDs. Let's go.
Show me some TDs. Hey man, you know what? It is Tuesday. Look, there's no beating Taco Tuesday or even Tequila Tuesday, but hopefully TD Tuesday is going to be third on your list at the very minimum. Welcome back to week 4, episode 3/4. I don't know, man. But we're going to go ahead and if you guys haven't watched our show yet, first of all, we go over last week's games. So we're going to go over week 4's recap in the NFL. We'll pick our Show Me Some TDs player of the week, and that's really simple. It's the player that showed me some TDs that week. We also go over our Do Better player of the week. That's the dude that needs to do fucking better.
Come on now.
And then we kind of go into week 5, and we'll do our predictions, and we'll go over top games that we're really interested in. And then we also discuss our fantasy football league, the Show Me Some TDs fantasy football league.
Yes,
How you doing in that league, by the way?
Let's not talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Not good.
I wish I was doing better, but it's still a long season, and I think I'm ready for it.
Hey, you know what? I can't even hate. I'm 2-2. I lost by 1 fucking point last week to Daniel the Viking himself. And just to give a quick shout out to Happy Customs LLC.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Again, this equipment that we have is because of you. You know, appreciate your sponsorship, and we'll continue to give you shout outs every single week. But fuck you, man. 1 goddamn point. If Patrick Mahomes doesn't slide at the end of that and Buckner kicks that field goal, I win. He kicks the extra point, I win. So fuck Pat Mahomes, fuck the Chiefs. I should have won that game and ultimately fuck Daniel, dude.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was praying on your downfall, and I'm sorry to say that to you face to face, but I was hoping that they weren't either gonna score. I was hoping that pick did not get overturned. It did, but still, Patrick Mahomes rushing for that first down just solidified making sure that you lost last week. Granted, I lost too, but it makes it feel a little bit less bad for me when you lose at the same time.
I'm just saying that shit was holding when he got that 3rd and 22-yard run. Yeah. That shit was holding. It was holding. I think it was on. I forget his name, but number 11 on the Jets. That motherfucker, he was held. He was held for fucking 8 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's some bullshit, man.
Yeah,
I wanted them to kick the field goal, and I would have won the fucking game. But regardless, man, that was actually a much better game than anyone expected, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The Jets. The final was Chiefs 23, Jets 20, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen a lot of Zach Wilson's games, but that was probably the best game he's ever played. And he didn't play that great.
He didn't.
Pat Mahomes did throw 2 interceptions. But ultimately, you know, the cool thing is about the Chiefs there is they did play a really good defense. I said something about their formidable defense. I didn't think they were going to have a chance to even slow down Kelsey or Mahomes. But one thing that it shows you about the Chiefs is that Isaiah Pacheco, when called upon, I know it was like a homecoming for him because he's from New Jersey and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you can run the ball and you can depend on him. He had over 150 all-purpose yards in that game.
It's good to see that come from Pacheco, you know, because obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs, right? You got Pat Mahomes, who is your playmaker. You're going to want to pass the ball more than you're going to want to run it, you know. But Isaiah Pacheco is an up-and-coming running back. I mean, last year he was doing really well. I want to say last year was his rookie year, yeah?
Yep.
So he was doing really well, and to see it kind of come to fruition now this year, and hopefully he can continue on, is going to be a good thing for him. I'm a little upset about it because I got offered a trade for him, and I didn't end up taking it, and now I'm kicking myself in the ass.
Yeah, and you know, he went to Rutgers, so again, New Jersey based and everything like that, so it was a homecoming for him, so maybe that's give him a little bit of extra juice to ball out.
Yeah.
But I mean, he absolutely did. He was running with a vengeance, dude. Like he was trying to run motherfuckers over, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that, you know, you still got it when it's like that, right? You have that juice, and he can go ahead. I mean, he had 115 yards, a 48 long yard rush, you know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show I have a little bit of confidence in Isaiah Pacheco.
And the Jets, like, honestly, if Zach Wilson can even perform to that standard, the Jets, they actually can be decent because that defense is real nice. Again, they had 2 interceptions on Pat Mahomes, and there was a lot of times where he didn't look like he's like, I don't know where to go with the ball.
Right.
Kelsey, he did all right. He didn't do nothing special, but you know, but ultimately, like, the Jets, at this point, do you want him to try to win games, or do you want to lose and just like, look, let's go tank, let's go get ourselves a left tackle in next year's draft, a top pick, because Rodgers is coming back.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, if you were the Jets in that situation, what would you do? Like, what would you ultimately want after seeing that? Because you've seen Zach Wilson, what everyone thought, and then you've seen that Zach Wilson that played for like pretty well, like. If you're the Jets, like, what do you want to? How do you want your season to end?
I mean, yeah, Zach Wilson went for 28 out of 39 for the passes made versus attempts, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a fantasy output of 19.2 in our PPR league, and you're right. That is decent, right? 19.2 is a good amount. It's not averaging 20 plus like some of the other quarterbacks in our league. And I said it last time that we were on this podcast together. I'm not a big fan of Zach Wilson. I'm really not. I was expecting him to, just kick the bucket there and not do what he needed to do. But, people are talking about him outperforming Pat Mahomes, and hopefully that lights a little bit of fire under Pat Mahomes, because there's no way Zach Wilson is on his level. But it's encouraging to see if you're, Robert Saleh, and if you're a Jets fan, because, it seemed like the season was really going down the drain for them quickly. But maybe they have a little bit of spark in them.
Yeah. Another game that we watched, and if you didn't watch it on, ESPN Plus, but it was that Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Falcons game that was in Toy Story mode. And I'm going to be honest, they had some fucking problems.
Yeah.
It didn't look very clean. There was some cool shit. Like, that pick six was actually pretty fucking dope. I'm going to be honest. The pick six looked great on the Toy Story cast.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're the Falcons, like, this kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, you don't want Desmond Ridder to be good. You really don't, because he's not. And the coach continues to say, like, that's what we're riding with. So I feel like they're preparing to grab a quarterback in next year's draft. It's a very deep class.
And I would do the same thing if I was them. I mean, realistically, like Desmond Ridder, when you look at stats, when you look at what he's doing out there, when you have a Kyle Pitts, when you have a Drake London, even when you have a Bijan Robinson, you're not the franchise cornerstone there. Unfortunately, man, I get it. I feel for him, but then you go out and get another quarterback.
Damn, when the fuck is Kyle Pitts going to ask for a trade?
Kyle Pitts needs to just do something, because, I have him in another one of my leagues, and I picked him up hoping that he was going to do well. Did not.
Do you feel like he's getting the volume or getting the looks to enough to make an impact? Because, to be honest, that's always been a question. Like, throw him the ball. But, like, when he does, is he doing it? Like, do you feel comfortable? Like, because I don't, man. And look, I was a huge fan of Kyle Pitts coming out of Florida. That shit was always on TV. Like, I caught a lot of Florida games with Kyle Pitts. And honestly, some of the reasons tuning in is because of Kyle Pitts, man. He was looking real fucking good. And I thought he was going to be a superstar in the NFL, in the up and coming tight end, like some shit that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
But god damn, dude, how underwhelming is this, man?
Well, he has a freakish athletic ability to be that and to be a great tight end in the league.
100%.
Unfortunately, he's just not, owning up to it where he should be. Maybe that's the scheme as far as Atlanta goes, right? Because they are very heavy run-based, right? But at the end of the day, you're the one that hyped me up to wanting Kyle Pitts to be really good last year. He probably had obviously a better year last year so far than he has this year. But again, what I'm saying, I'm expecting way more from him, and he's not owning up to it. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was gonna do better even against my favorite team, the Jaguars. Our defense is off and on. We can have really good weeks, we can have really bad weeks, and I thought he was gonna do more. At the end of the day, he ended up going for, I'll tell you right now, he ended up going for an average of 8.4 points per game in that, 11 catches, 124 1 yard so far. It's all hype and no bite.
Disgusting, dude. It's disgusting, man. Yeah. Look, again, I already just said I was a big fucking Kyle Pitts fan, but I'm fucking tired of seeing it. I don't want to see him in a Falcons uniform anymore. I want him to just go to a quarterback that can at least throw the ball 15, 20 yards down the field, because Desmond Ridder ain't him. Bijan Robinson's doing just fine, right? But that's the only player I think you can start on that team and have any confidence in.
100%.
Drake London did catch a touchdown this week, but you just don't have that confidence that it's going to be consistent at all.
It's hard to come by. Again, if you don't have somebody throwing the ball well placed, with some of your playmakers, you're just not going to play make, period.
But let's go to the game of the week, and I said it last week in my weekly predictions, and I got this wrong, to be fair. I actually got, out of however many games there was, I got like 4 of these matchups wrong, and this was one of them.
Really?
Because I said the Dolphins were going to beat the Bills,
right? And
I got that wrong. And you know why? And look how good the fucking Bills can be when Josh Allen does not turn over the football.
Man,
I mean, it was insane. 3 touchdowns. passing and then 1 rushing touchdown.
Right.
No turnovers, and they absolutely rolled the Dolphins.
I was expecting a little bit more of a fight from the Dolphins. Again, going for 70 against Denver last week is a statement game, even though they were being, they didn't want to go for that last touchdown to go for the record. They were being reluctant. You don't want to go against the football gods in that aspect, but you got to put up a little bit more of a fight this week against another top team in the league. I mean, realistically, you said it, Josh Allen, he went for 320 yards, 21 out of 25 attempts versus passes made. 5 total touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 rushing, 17 yards rushing. I mean, 36.5 fantasy points per game.
God damn! That's what that comes down to, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? This game actually started out so fucking good.
Yeah.
Look, I gotta watch as much of it as I possibly could because I'm telling you, it was the game of the week. This is the one that everybody wanted to see. Mm-hmm. The first 5 possessions of the game, 3 for the Dolphins, 3 for the Bills, 2 for the Dolphins, all ended in touchdowns. Like, so the start of the game, they were straight up showing me some TDs, man, and it was awesome. After that, the Dolphins had 2 field goals, and that's it. And then the Bills ran away with it, and ended up this end score ended up being 48-20. Yeah. So, damn.
And that's the thing. I mean, the first 5 possessions being all touchdowns, you expect a shootout from 2 high-powered offenses like these 2 teams, but you got to be able to finish games, and that's the name of the game.
And it's not like the Dolphins were turning the ball over either. Like, It wasn't a whole bunch of honestly, it was just the Bills played really fucking excellent football on all 3 phases. Yeah. Special teams, defense, and offense, and their defense really showed up. They had the home field advantage, and they beat the Dolphins, and that was one of my wrong predictions of the week, man. That sucks, but hey, it was a great game for the first half.
Right. Yeah, and I'll take that.
And another game that was a lot closer than I thought was the Commanders versus the Eagles. Now I know I'm throwing you off on this one a little bit, but let's be honest, the Commanders, Sam Howell is their quarterback, and I'll just run with this one. But the Commanders, their defense with Chase Young is still, I mean, he was out for a little bit. Yeah. And people maybe slept on him a little bit. Sure. God damn, he is a good fucking football player, great defensive end, and he wreaks havoc on offenses, man. Love Chase Young.
He's a threat,
I'm not gonna lie, I really was kind of hoping he was gonna get moved, get traded to, traded to any other team. Commanders, they have been such a shit organization for so fucking long, dude. Dan Snyder and shit like that. Yeah. All that weird stuff that he was doing. But to be honest, I mean, look, and I say this sincerely, you'll always be the Redskins to me. I'm trying to be correct and call you the Commanders, but you'll always be the Redskins to me. Growing up, that's just what it was. Right. And you know who you were when I was growing up? Terrible. Terrible. But the Eagles only won that game by 3 points. I think Hurts had 2 picks in that game, which hurts me in fantasy football wise. But A.J. Brown did his thing and scored 35 points in fantasy football, 36 points, something like that. Great game for Fly Eagles Fly, baby.
Right, and that's what you want to see. I mean, I want to say that game went into overtime, so it wasn't an easy feat altogether, sure But, I don't know if you caught a little bit of the last week's game where A.J. Brown was telling, Jalen Hurts, like, hey, find me, you know what I'm saying? Like,
throw me the fucking ball.
And he did that this week, and it worked to their success.
Weird how that
Super
happens.
Weird.
I know we talked about this a little bit before we jumped on camera, but Justin Fields had himself a ball game for a minute. I don't know, but I had my pick'ems were I picked the Broncos. Yeah. I picked Russell Weirdo and the Broncos. And you know what? I thought I was going to get another wrong pick because the Bears just came out hot, hair on fire, shit like that. And Russell Wilson somehow, some way, led a comeback. And I think he's actually a top 10 quarterback. No. It's not my opinion, but I think in fantasy football, he's a top 10 quarterback in the league right now. And I'm like, how the fuck, dude? You've won 1 game and somehow it's possibly because he's going to have to pass a lot. He has to put up numbers. Yes. And especially in this game, you guys were down early. I think you guys were literally down 28-7 or some shit like that, 28-3. And then he had to make the comeback, lots of passes, but it's weird. The Bears are a weird fucking team, dude.
Man, it strikes me
game of the week
because I have Justin Fields, right, on my fantasy team with our league here, and I had to transition early to Kirk Cousins because Justin Fields was just not cutting it. There was all this talk about him being light years ahead in this offense, and I had a lot of confidence in that. I was like, okay, it's third year, technically third or fourth, right? And now I'm like, okay, maybe he is advanced to the point where he can start going. You got another playmaker, DJ Moore, on there to go ahead and go out and get those touchdowns for you, but he just wasn't up to par. And of course, this week where I have him benched on my bench, he just goes off for 30 plus points.
Yeah, great for fantasy football. And look, that's a common theme in a lot of this. Great for fantasy football, but not good in the NFL. I'm going to be honest, last year in fantasy football, he was lighting the world on fire for fantasy football. But he still doesn't win any games. I think he's won maybe 5 or 6 games total in his 3-year career. Yeah, that's not good. So
it's tough. Good player, maybe not the best situation you would hope so, right? But we're talking a little bit about it. The Bears have the number 1 and the number 2 pick next year, so maybe they just keep holding out and see how it goes next draft.
So I'm not gonna lie, this may be tampering, but if you're the Chicago Bears, you're like, look, we ain't doing so hot, so you got to kind of reach out to Caleb Williams at USC. Because he's already made it known he doesn't want to go play for the Cardinals.
Right.
And they're not even right now in contention for the number 1 pick. Right. Chicago may be a different story. Mm-hmm. Chicago could have 2 number 1 picks or 2 back-to-back picks in the first round. And you got to put out some feelers. Hey man, Caleb Williams, you could be the franchise quarterback. We're going to give you the keys to the team. Right. And we'll build and we'll do whatever you want to fucking make us, back to at least respectable. Because they're just not ready,
And that could be a good situation on him. They have some playmakers, not just DJ Moore, but they got what's his face that came over from Pittsburgh.
Claypool. They have Mooney,
right?
Receivers.
And Claypool just recently came out and said that he's not being utilized to his fullest potential in the offense.
He said, nope. He straight up was like, nope, I'm not. And fuck that. Way to be honest about that shit. Like AJ Brown, he did it a little different. He went right to fucking Jalen Hurts. He was like, look, throw me the goddamn ball. Yeah. Throw me the ball. Yeah. And he did it a different way. Claypool, they traded a 2nd round pick for Claypool, so they thought he was going to be something special. He did not pan out, and that's why they made that trade for DJ Moore. I do think offensively they got some talent. Right. Khalil Herbert, Rashawn, what's his name? Johnson,
I think. Yeah.
Johnson. He was Bijan Robinson's backup at Texas, but I'm gonna be honest. He could have been the starter for most teams, but he was just playing behind Bijan. Sure. So I think he's actually really good. I think he's gonna take the number 1 back role over soon. But the Bears, I don't know what the fuck y'all doing, man. Y'all, you just don't look good. I said on my video, I was like, you're the turbo on offense, the turbo on defense, that they are. And the Broncos, if you weren't playing the Bears, you would have lost, dude. So
yeah, seriously.
Russell Weirdo ain't gonna pull this one out. There's nothing special about this team. They're not gonna accomplish anything this year.
Count your blessings that Justin Field made a mistake and had that pick to finish off the game for them to get the field goal. It sucks to see it that way. But again, like I said, incredible fantasy player, maybe not the smartest decisions out on the field.
So the best team in the NFL is who? Who do you think is the best number 1 team?
The Jaguars.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, dude. You lying, dog. Nah, fuck that. You lying.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you had to do a power ranking right now, who's your number 1 NFL team?
I think it just goes back to the conversation we had before, the Niners. And it's crazy because this is kind of lead into a little bit later today, but. And I'm not a Niners fan. I just want to be very clear about that.
I'm a Seahawks fan. Weird. Look, got the fucking Sonic hat on and shit like that. Dude.
But man, CMC, I think you said it in one of your shorts, it has the potential to be the first non-QB player to become MVP this year, and I wholeheartedly believe that. If he continues his production how he's doing right now, we're going to leave out the fact that he smacked my fantasy team this last week, but...
48 fantasy football points in the stated PER league, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdowns. He's making the case that, and I sad to say, but that I was wrong about who should have been the number 1 pick in fantasy football, because I picked Justin Jefferson, not that. And you look, Justin Jefferson finally scored a touchdown.
Right, 2, 3.
His numbers are looking right. Right. And he's not like he's been bad by any means. But how good has CMC looked consistently scoring? I'm pretty sure he's had multiple touchdowns in every single game in the four weeks this season, and he probably should have been the number 1 pick, and I'm sorry. I told everyone to go pick Justin Jefferson number 1. My fault. I didn't think CMC was going to do these kind of numbers, just to be fair.
Now, with that being said, it's early in the season. CMC is having a great year so far, and I don't doubt that whatsoever. I did pick Justin Jefferson as my first pick in a couple of different leagues, and I'm still standing behind it because although he just now, so last week he got 2 touchdowns, week before he got his first touchdown, the volume is there. He's getting the yardage. I mean, he's getting anywhere from 16 points per game up to like 27.
Hey, that dude's always open.
And that's the thing is when you have that chemistry with Kirk O'Dimes, you know what I'm saying? Why not? Come on now.
Oh, man. You know, it's funny, like, how many turnovers the Vikings have in 4 weeks, dude. It's insane.
It is insane.
They did better last week, but they were playing against the Panthers. So,
yeah.
Last game, well, actually, to be fair, there's 2 I want to go over, just to be quick.
Sure.
Them boys absolutely embarrassed the fuck out of the Patriots.
Man.
And, I mean, to the point where they got to sit their starters right away or pretty quickly. Rashawn Vaughn or something. Vaughn came in the running back.
Deuce Vaughn?
Deuce. It was Deuce.
Yep.
Deuce Vaughn. I don't know. Rashawn Vaughn. I don't know. Baseball player or some shit. Anyway, Deuce Vaughn comes into the ball game and, you know, and just kind of ices it away, just short runs. But the Patriots had no fucking chance. That defense is so incredible. Like, I think they're the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL.
I think so too.
I mean, if you look at, and the weird fucking part is they lost to the Cardinals, so I don't know what to make of the Cowboys, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, you should have beat that team, and like the Patriots, I did think they were gonna win. I think the Cowboys were gonna win, but 38-3. That's an ass whooping, dog.
Yeah.
That's an ass whooping.
100%. And I'd be looking at myself in the mirror if I was Mac Jones. I mean, at the 4th quarter, he ended up getting benched, which Belichick said that it wasn't for production reasons. Maybe he has a lingering issue or whatever the case is. But yeah.
Not production reasons, but he picks.
I mean,
fuck everything.
Who knows, right? Who knows what's going on there? But I do agree, you know, with the Cowboys defense just being astronomical in comparison to other defenses out there right now. I mean,
it's weird.
And that's with losing Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, no Diggs, and they still... they absolutely shut them out, man. And they had 40-0 against the Giants earlier in the season.
Man.
Last game of the week was last night, and it wasn't even close. But go fucking Hawks. We had never had 11 sacks in one game, so of course that's why I wanted to mention it.
Yeah.
Go Hawks on that one. Danny Dimes just looks fucking confused. Getting hit 11 times or sacked 11 times is not easy, but I mean, they had nothing. They just had absolutely nothing offensively, dude. It's real bad there.
It's tough to see, not to mention 97 yard, pick 6 from Devin Witherspoon. I was looking a little bit at the game, and you could see DeBoll so upset with Daniel Jones. It's like, come on, man, make the smart read. And it makes me upset as a Darren Waller fan because you want to see the type of seasons that he's had with the Raiders, with the Giants, right? In thinking that maybe Danny Dimes can utilize him a little bit more. But on that play where he got the pick 6, Darren Waller was wide open at that left goalpost in the end zone. You just got to throw a good enough ball to get him to that point. I mean, come on, don't overcomplicate the situation, to get you a pick 6.
You just can't do that. The tough part is like Saquon's out.
Right.
Do you think he makes any fucking difference on this team right now? I mean, obviously, yes.
Yes.
He puts a different dynamic in the team.
Sure.
But hear me out on this one. The next team that they play is the Miami Dolphins.
Right.
The week after that is the Buffalo Bills. And then it's the Washington Commanders. And then the New York Jets.
No.
So, I mean, those are 4 absolute elite teams playing against the Giants. So they have a potential, and I honestly believe this. They have a potential to start the season off 1-7. Damn.
Yeah.
This playoff team. Dabo actually won the Coach of the Year, right? I think he won Coach of the Year.
Right.
And they're talking about him being on the hot seat.
Crazy how things can change from one year to another. And I'm actually going to kind of join you in. Maybe not 1-7, but I'm going 2-6 for sure. Maybe to match your current record of 1-3 right now.
So who are they beating? They're beating the Commanders or the Jets?
I think they're beating the Commanders, and only because And actually, even that's kind of questionable because, again, we just talked about Chase Young. The Commanders' defense is not a horrible defense. It really isn't. It's probably middle of the pack right now. But if you have, Daniel Jones making the decisions that he made, last night against the Seahawks, then there's a good chance they go 1-7. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. You lose to the Dolphins, you lose to the Bills, you beat the Commanders, you lose to the Jets.
And hear me out, just because this is already up.
Yeah.
So maybe they do.
Right.
Maybe they win one of those games.
Right.
They play the Raiders, winnable game.
Yeah.
But then the next week they play the fucking Cowboys. I mean, this is a tough fucking schedule.
Yeah.
For the Giants. And honestly, like Danny Dimes, I feel like they fucked up giving him that contract. Like we talked about it before.
Yeah.
He got the fucking bag and you ain't doing nothing with it, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, getting in the bag and absolutely doing nothing. I know he's hurt, but do better, bro. The Cincinnati Bengals look like shit, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hurt, I guess. Joe, and like I was telling you, ever since I started saying Joe, he's absolutely been fucking lit.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, dude. I don't know what else to say. He's only had one double-digit game in fantasy football that was 15 points, and I think that was in week 3 or week 2.
Yeah.
But he's been absolute shit, and he's had, I mean, honestly, in those other 3 games, he's had less than 5 points, something like that.
It's been rough.
Less than 8.
It's been a rough one.
I mean, it's not been good, and he's a starting quarterback for a lot of people's fantasy football leagues. Is it time to panic? Like because they don't have bye week till week 7.
Well, and that's
so they have 2 more weeks. Like,
to see what it plans out to be. And here's the thing. Now, I do give him the benefit of the doubt to a certain extent. He is dealing with a lingering calf injury. He is playing through the pain, but to the point where, last week he gets 4.7 points in fantasy, 165 yards, 1 fumble. He has 2 touchdowns so far this year to go along with 2 picks on that. He has a 33.6 QB rating, which makes it for 29th in the league. I mean, is it time to panic? Is it too early to tell? I guess we'll see over the next few weeks.
Well, and that's the thing, too. The Tennessee Titans, I mean, Derrick Henry hasn't done a fucking thing all season, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's back. He looks like Derrick the King Henry, right?
Yeah.
And the Titans defense has been giving up about 240 yards passing per game. So, like, I actually picked the Bengals in that one. That was another game that I was incorrect about. Thought they were going to bounce back. I said the Bengals have been unimpressive, but I've been less impressed with the Titans. And, I mean, you have to be a little bit concerned for the Bengals right now because, I mean, it doesn't get any easier. So, and the thing is, there is 2 more weeks before their bye week. Like, if dude continues to play this way, like, it's not looking good. Like, it just isn't.
And that's the thing is, it does suck that you have a bye week in a couple weeks because it's so extended from the beginning of the season where that calf injury happened to now. You do have to play through it. And so far, your production has not been great, Joe Burrow, in that regards. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You have to change something up next week. Maybe make a different couple of play calls because at the end of the day, you got your playmaker, Jamar Chase, saying that he is open every single time. If he's saying that out loud, you got to make sure something happens with that.
You got to, right? And like, if you're in fantasy football, I'm going to be honest, right now might be the time to try to get off of Chase, like, and get whatever you can.
Right.
Because, and for the opposite side, you want to go try to get Chase because you're hoping that better days are ahead.
Right.
But, you kind of buy low, sell high kind of thing. Because, like, I don't know, man. Like, Chase was my number 2 overall player in fantasy football, and I don't think he's even right now points-wise a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't think he is. It's been a little bit of a wonky start to the season altogether nonetheless. But, again, if you're drafting, especially fantasy-wise, if you're drafting a player that high, you're expecting them to produce, and it is not good when you have a quarterback that's not producing along with.
Nope, not at all, man. And, again, like, that game was like, it was kind of like a pick 'em for me. I was like, man, I don't really care about this game. But, Tennessee winning 27-3 as the Bengals, like, Super Bowl contenders every, last couple years.
Right.
That's embarrassing, bro. And you guys have now looked really good defensively, especially on the offense. But, and that's why they're might do better, bro, this week. I mean, Joe just is just trash right now. So
he's just going down. Again, there's talks about him being the top 3 quarterback in the league. Not to mention the AFC. You're not doing that right now, Joe.
Nope. I think he was one of my top 5 quarterbacks in my preseason predictions. But My Show Me Some TDs player, the Show Me Some TDs player of the week was Christian McCaffrey. Did you have somebody that just absolutely showed you some TDs this week?
Well, so he was actually, this player was my do better player of the week a couple weeks ago, and now he is my Show Me Some TDs player of the week, Josh Allen. Now, again, I've said before, I'm a big fan of him, right? And I do believe that he's going to do better. I do believe that he's going to turn his season around, and that's what he did. 320 yards, 21 for 25, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 36.5 fantasy points for last week. I mean, it almost makes you start to forget what week 1 looked like for him.
Josh Allen showed me some TDs.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Happy to see it. And again, look at the difference it makes when he doesn't turn the ball over.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's prone to do that, and they absolutely dominated. Didn't turn the ball over. They look great doing it. So those are our Show Me Some TDs player of the week. That's the Duke player. I mean, mine was the whole fucking team, and I'm not afraid to do that because the whole fucking Bengals team looked like shit, dude. They couldn't run the ball. Joe Mixon, right? He's been a fucking huge question mark, where he was actually one of my running backs I felt very secure and very confident in drafting if I needed to. And you know what? It's just not happening, and it's because they can't pass the ball, right? And so guess what? Bring it, like, fucking rush. See what happens. Run the ball on us. I mean, every kind of team is, I mean, they kind of see that Joe Burrow is not 100%. So stack the box.
And look, it's a little bit more hurtful for me because I did draft Joe Mixon. He was my RB1 that I drafted, and I was really hoping that his dual ability for passing and rushing would at least get him an average of 12 to 15 points a game, and that's not happening right now.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "Oh, Joe Mixon, you got to steal, bro. You got him when you, like, wherever you drafted, right? Because you got him super late because you picked number 1 in our league, and then you basically picked number 30 after that, 30, 31. And then you picked him up, and, like, it's a steal, right? You got fucking Joe Mixon at 30. Yeah, excellent, right? But now you're like, maybe I could have looked at some different options.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've sent out a couple trades with Joe Mixon included, which kind of hurts me a little bit because I really do want to believe in him. I do want to believe that he's gonna come back up to par. But again, just like we said with Chase, if you don't have your quarterback up to par in his own standard, then it just doesn't let the rest of the team be to their best of their ability.
So moving on to week 5, let's just go over some cool matchups. Yeah, matchups that we think are going to be good. The first one I see is another London game. Even though the Bills are actually listed as the home team, let's be honest, it's the London fucking Jaguars.
Duval.
What are you gonna do, London? Well, what are you gonna do next time? Like
Terrio.
Jaguar. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do, bro. Because I truly feel like eventually that is a real possibility that they get relocated to London. They've made it very clear they want to go international, and the Jaguars, I mean, they've played the most games in London and Wimbledon or whatever.
It's just another home game for us, and me as a Jaguar fan, I'm happy to see that because the more home games that we get, the better chances, because we do relatively well at home versus on the road.
Yeah, how the fuck is this a fucking away game for the Jaguars? No way, dude.
Nope.
No way.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about going against the Bills?
So here's the thing. Last year, we went against the Bills, and we were trying to keep up with them, right? Josh Allen versus Josh Allen was a headline before, right? Our defensive end versus QB. And I do think that, again, I said it earlier, our defense is spotty, right? Sometimes we're on, sometimes we're off. Last week, we were on. I'm hoping that this week, we're not off, right? We really need to make it a game against Josh Allen. We need to be able to make sure that we're, rushing at him defensively to make sure that he's not making those pinpoint passes, not only to Stephon Diggs, but now to Gabe Davis. I mean, if you looked at Gabe Davis over the last couple of games, he's getting a touchdown on minimal, receptions, and that is the X factor right there, if there's any.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one. And to be honest, looking at this week's schedule, there's not a whole lot of games that blow up my skirt. There's not a lot of games I'm super excited for. But I think we can agree the game of the week is the Cowboys playing the 49ers. Right. Sunday Night Football. What a game. Prime time. And we're really going to see, look, Dallas's offense, we've seen they can score points. Right. And their defense has been impeccable. But is the 49ers team really that fucking good, or is the teams that they've been playing not that great? So this is the matchup of the week. I'm really excited what to see out of Brock Purdy against the fucking Cowboys defense.
Man, I said it before, Brock Purdy has come up, and it's crazy to see his consistency in what he's doing out there. I mean, I want to say one of our league mates even has him as his starting QB right now, and he believes in him that much, right? And yeah, I mean, this is the solidifier as to what the top team is right now. Is it the Niners? Is it the Cowboys? Is it the Jags? We'll see.
It's the Eagles. No, I'm just playing. I truly think the 49ers are the best team. This game is in Santa Clara, which is fucking weird, man. I'm tired of this these teams playing in they're the San Francisco 49ers that play in Santa Clara, right? I fucking hate that. The New York Football Giants, the G-men that play in New Rutherford, New Jersey,
right.
or Rutherford, New Jersey, whatever the fuck it's called.
Right.
But I don't know. Sorry, that shit just pisses me off, dude. The Seattle Seahawks play in fucking Seattle.
Period.
The London Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars play in London. Like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. But anyway, I truly think who's gonna win that game? Cowboys versus the Niners.
I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, and this is a tough one. It's not an easy pick. I'm gonna say the Niners are gonna win this one.
Me too. Me too. The only reason is like, and it sucks. It's weird to say, like, I'm not going to say Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Right.
But he has a better team, better weapons. The defense, again, I don't know. It's a pick 'em, like toss up.
Right.
But Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, like both of those teams are just that. Fred Warner is the best middle linebacker in the NFL. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. This fucking sucks. It pains me to do it. Like, I keep picking the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey is my show me some TDs player of the week, man. It fucking hurts as a Seahawk fan, dude. It's bullshit.
Fake Seahawk fan.
Oh, man, right? We're going to take you inside and look at our fantasy football league, the Show Me Some TDs Fantasy Football League. This is our 10th year, and shit that's never happened before is happening, and I don't know how I feel about it. We have a person in our league named, and he renamed his team The Villain. I mean, that's his persona. That's where he wants to be. And that's how he's acting in the fucking group chats, everything like that. But the villain, JB, Josh himself, is absolutely going ham, and he started the season off 4-0.
Man.
Why that shit's weird is because most seasons he maybe wins 5 games. So, just to be fair, the Sacco is the worst player of the year. You get the Sacco award, you get the fucking toilet trophy, and all the shame in the world when you're the worst player in our fantasy football regular season, and he's been that 3 times, and everyone thought, me included, he was going to get number 4.
Yeah.
But he's 4-0, ruining everybody's lives right now. That's why he's the villain, and he's fucking thriving right now, dude. It's pissing me off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he ruined my life last week. I was dead set at the beginning of the week. Now, granted, projections aside, you can't always believe that, but I was dead set that I'm winning this week, right? Having Kirk Cousins on my starting QB along with Justin Jefferson. They're starting to get some chemistry. You know, I thought that it was really gonna go ahead and pull it out, but unfortunately, just like the Show Me Some TDs player, he had Christian McCaffrey on his team. What can you do about that?
Yeah, so last week he rode the coattails off the Miami Dolphins, but he got to ride the coattails off the 49ers with Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk. And you know what? He beat you 121-89.
98.
Oh, my bad. I was
Hold on, it wasn't
my
that
bad. My bad. I mean, you're making it sound like it was that much different. I mean, but just to be fair, he beat me the week before. It was probably by a bigger margin. My team got fucking mollywopped. But the villain moves to 4-0. You actually moved down to 1-3. Now, this is not the first time you've seen 1-3 this year, right? Because I'm just playing.
No, it's not the first.
We got a work league that we don't really talk about on this show because if we did, you'd just be hearing nothing about me being 4-0. What's up, dog?
We do talk about it a little bit because, again, that's the league that I'm a 2-time champion. But nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, 1-3 in that league, 1-3 in this league. Again, it's a long season. I'm hoping to come up like James did last year, maybe go on a 6-game win streak and come back to where I need to be.
All I'm saying is I got more wins in this league than you do in the 2 leagues combined already. And I'm 2-2.
Look, man.
I'm just playing.
Look, man, fantasy players come up. You know me. I'm ready to come for the top regardless.
Yep.
Never lose confidence.
The bounce back is inevitable. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Now, this other game was a big one. It was a 50-point win for Cade versus Trey. Now, Trey, someone that I absolutely believe in, and you know why? Mm-hmm. It's because he's going to make this turnaround because he's getting these number 1 waiver wire picks up, like Devin Achan. who, again, so he had that 50-point week last week. Now he scores 27, and he's absolutely taking over the starting running back position for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason why, and I know we don't talk too much about these, but that's the whole reason why you got rid of Mostert, right? Is because you have Achane coming in, 8 attempts, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest was a 55. I mean, that's a dynamic playmaker right there if I've ever seen him.
Track speed, dude. He was a track star at Texas A&M. But the G. Wilson Army, who I think he's got to change his name too because he got rid of Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
He plays for Taco now.
Right.
But Stephon Diggs had 36 points. And then the Dallas defense did it again with 27 points. And then Brock Purdy threw in a little nice 21 piece, man. Yeah. So the G. Wilson Cade got the win there. It's funny that we talk about 4-0 because this guy was really in the running for Sacco last year, finishing 5-8, and it was Nick, the Redeem team, man. We used to, prior to the last 2 seasons, because he's been shit. He's been below 500.
Sorry, Nick.
I mean, I'm not. He's been below 500 for the last 2 seasons, right? We used to call him the Juggernaut, right? Because nobody wanted to play him. He was always in the playoffs. He's a 2-time champion in this league, so he was the Juggernaut. And then he turned into the Juggernaut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, last 2 seasons finishing below 500. But that motherfucker is back, and he's back with a vengeance. He's 4-0, and he beat Taco by 25 points with Lamar Jackson. And then, what's his name? Williams for the Rams?
Kyron Williams.
Whew. What a pickup, dude. What a steal there. What a pickup on the waiver wire, man.
Literally.
Cheers to that one.
Look, I'm not even going to lie to you, and I'm cheers to it too. It was crazy to see Kyron Williams come up after Cam Akers, there was talks about him being, coming back onto the Rams last year, right? And then coming into this year, I thought he was going to be more of a focal point on the offense, right? Especially Cooper Kupp going out early. Ended up getting traded, and now it's the Kyron Williams show. Well, the Kyron Williams and the Puka Nacua show. But man, to see him right now, last week he got 27.7 points. I want to say he's been averaging anywhere from 18 to 20-something points, per week, and that's...
Dude's been going off.
Crazy to see from a backup, huh?
Yeah, no shit. And I think Taco needs to. So he made a move, and he got Kelsey to pair with Mahomes. Mahomes had a shit week against the Jets, and that's a tough matchup for not only Pat Mahomes but for Travis Kelsey as well.
Yeah.
But if I told you Travis Kelsey and Mark Andrews, one of them scored 25 points, you'd probably lean more toward Travis Kelsey, right?
100%.
Well, it was Mark Andrews making his best game of the season, scoring 25 points. Easily. And Taco actually played Kelsey at the flex, or vice versa, one of them. So, I mean, those dudes, those are number 1 and number 2. Ultimately, I think by the end of the season, they're number 1, number 2 tight ends.
Yeah. Agreed.
And when you don't have a deep receiving core, there's no shame in playing both of those dudes in your starting lineup.
Not when you have them going for that much points, per week. Again, Kelsey is going to get you. I think even Kelsey this week had roughly around 17, 18 points on average, maybe 13, want to say something like that. But again, no shame in putting
in a game that he struggled in, and he's still putting up double-digit points, right?
Is that the Taylor Swift effect?
Ooh, you son of a bitch, man. We almost made this whole fucking show without mentioning Taylor Swift.
I had to do it.
So he did. He got 12 points, man. But goddamn, dude. Team Tay-Tay or not, dude? I'm for that shit, dude. Team Tay-Tay, dude. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Yeah, it's almost, kind of masking the fact that, Travis Kelsey is a great player nonetheless,
Yeah, she blew up because of Travis Kelsey, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Look, it's funny because people are like, oh yeah, she blew up because of fucking Travis Kelsey. But there's a whole lot of fucking men that don't listen to goddamn Taylor Swift. And they know who that is.
100%.
Hey, well, all due respect. She killed it on her fucking world tour and shit like that. But that shit's wild. And I thought we were gonna make the whole show without talking about Taylor Swift. But you can't, man. It's Taylor fucking Swift and it's Travis fucking Kelsey. You can't do it.
I'll be honest with you. There's a lot more Swifties out in the world than we think.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. You saw that video, and hopefully I can find it. But if fucking Aaron Rodgers getting Swifty at Taylor Swift concert, and now Travis Kelsey's really getting Swifty, and hopefully he can get Swifty in fantasy football, man. Well, I'd love to see it. So
me too.
But I played Daniel, and again, I lost by 1 fucking point, dude. Again, if Pat Mahomes doesn't slide, if this is more play, I used to get, fuck that, man. Think about fantasy football, and that's kind of why I like college football. style points matter, right? Beat the team by as much as you possibly fucking can. Bludgeon them, dude. And you know what? Pat Mahomes pulled up, and if they would have scored, my kicker would have kicked an extra point, and I would have won the game. But I lose to Daniel, and you know what? Huge comeback fantasy football wise for Alvin Kamara, dude. 21 points, dude. Fuck.
It's crazy because I thought it was going to be a slow play into it. I thought that maybe he wouldn't average 20 or get to 20 right off the bat. I thought maybe he might start off with a cool 12, a cool 13, maybe like 60 rushing yards on 8 to 10 attempts. But nope, he went full speed right into it. It got to 21 this week. Man, you got to love to see it.
Yeah, there was no rushing into it. There was no, my bad. There was no let's ease him into it. I mean, no fucking way, dude. He didn't have a whole bunch of rushing yards, to be fair, but that's still not his game. And I really thought the fucking Lions were going to be able to utilize Jahmyr Gibbs like how the Saints do with Alvin Kamara. They're that similar type of player. And you know what? It just shows how elite he really is and can be, especially when it comes down to fantasy football. The last matchup of the week was Chris's team, the Goobacks, and the Chalupa Batman team. And Chris got his ass whooped by 33 points, my bad. Puka Nacua still had 31 points. God damn.
Insane.
The Seattle Seahawks defense had 30 points. And without that, this game is not even close, relatively whatsoever. But Chalupa Batman had his fun. Chalupa Batman had Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, and Chris Godwin. Those are his top 3 players of the week. And Derrick Henry finally had his game. It was against the Bengals, but 24 points from Derrick Henry. Hopefully you can feel a little bit more confident in that, continuing to go forward. But you also can't be, because they're not very good.
Right. And that's the thing, is hopefully he starts to find some consistency. Again, Josh Allen being my Show Me Some TDs player of the week, he came up and showed out for Team Chalupa Batman. And I do think that he's going to continue to show out in that aspect. Goobak having Puka Nacua as a pickup on the waiver wire is probably his best pickup of the season. And I'm going to say that now through the rest of the season. Yeah, I mean, he's up there, right? There's people that are talking about him having more yards in his first 4 or 5 games than the likes of Calvin Johnson. I'm saying in the likes of who's the other player? Why am I not thinking about it right now?
Anquan Bolden. I mean, his rookie season went stupid nuts. But Puka Nacua is a great player. Again, I've talked about him before. But here's the thing. Cooper Kupp is going to be coming back. I mean, hopefully soon. And Puka Nacua may not have those numbers, but he's still going to be a solid, not number 2 just in the NFL receiver, but a solid number 2 receiver in fantasy football. I think his talent right now, or what he's showing, you can't ignore it, and you're not going to let it just go to waste.
Right.
So he is going to lose some targets and volume to Cooper Kupp, but he's just going to add that extra value, like, again, Robert Woods did when it was Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp when they were 1 and 2, and they both had 1,000 yards receiving. So I could see that happening again with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
100%. I mean, at this point, it's not a fluke. You might think that maybe after 1 game, after 2 games, he's just having a lucky streak. No, this is a lucky streak continuing on. Granted, last week against Cincinnati, he had 7.2 fantasy points, 72 yards, but that's still respectable. Coming from where he's come from as a 5th round pick. Last week going against the Colts, having 163 yards, 1 touchdown, 22.3 fantasy points. I mean, right now he is the wide receiver 7, technically averaging 14.1 points.
Goddamn.
I think that by the end of the season, he still ends up the top 20 wide receiver.
Oh, without a doubt. I 100% would agree with you. So let's kind of look, and you told me I need to go fix my name, and I'll fix this hopefully before I put the video up. But next week's matchups, man, in the Show Me Some TDs League, and I have to win this game, and I hate that I have to do it against my brother Taco, but Taco, you're going down, motherfucker. I'm going to beat you, bro. I hope I do. Anyway, my new team name, it hurts a Kittle. So previously, it was Goddard hurts to be this good, but I got rid of Dallas Goddard, got a fucking Kittle, so it hurts a Kittle. So hopefully my team hurts a Kittle, very little, whatever, man, and I win this game. But if you look at this matchup here, he's not strong at the running back position, where now, for the first time all season, I feel like I have a wealth. Like I have real sustainable depth in my running back position.
Yeah.
So if you look at the teams, I now, after the trade that I made, getting rid of Raheem Mostert and Brandon Ayuk. I received Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift. And then I have Jahmyr Gibbs, and then hurt right now is Austin Eckler. So now I really feel confident in my running back position to the point where, like, I need to be looking to upgrade with those 4 players to get another receiver, so I feel comfortable having another second receiver with A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman had 1 fucking catch last week. George Pickens, I think Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
I think he's out. I forget what happened. But I think he's out. So that's just going to drop his value down. So now I got to kind of be on the lookout. Like, I can start 3 running backs, 2 running backs and then a flex. I would ultimately like to have another 3rd receiver, so I feel comfortable with that. But with my running back situation compared to Matt Breida, Ramondre Stevenson, and he does have Gus Edwards and some other running backs, but I feel like my team is just a little bit more solidified in every single position, and I'm gonna win this one, Taco. Sorry, baby. Sorry. I hope I still see you at my birthday and at Thanksgiving and shit like that. But I'm definitely gonna win this game. So yeah. That's on me.
And let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shit.
I do agree with you. I do think that right now you made a couple of moves, in the trade atmosphere that have put you ahead of probably most of the teams out here. And I hate to say it because I'd like to see you go down, you know what I'm saying? And I do plan on beating you the next time that we match up against. But, Josh Jacobs, nonetheless, is still a good running back in the league. I understand, things have gone on with his whole contract issues, but now
28 points last week.
He put that behind him now, you know what I'm saying? And now he just needs to go out and ball, and that's exactly what he's doing. And not to mention having the interchangeable DeAndre Swift along with Eckler when he comes back, right? I mean, those are 3 good, solid running backs that if I had them, I'd feel very confident about. Michael Pittman isn't doing, what he was doing maybe last year, the year before that, but he's still a good wide receiver. Unfortunately, Taco, unless Pat Mahomes has an incredible game against Minnesota, which I do think it is going to be a little bit of a shootout, you might need to change up Matt Breida and get another running back to help you have a little bit of a chance this week.
Yep, absolutely. So you actually play Cade, the G. Wilson Army, and hopefully he's fucking watching and he changes his goddamn name. I don't know what it's going to be, but he usually kind of changes his name a bunch anyway.
Yeah.
But for him, for you, to be fair, your top 3 players that were projected were Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, but then Justin Fields. So if you look at his team, on the other hand, he does have Stephon Diggs. Jonathan Taylor is practicing, and he might be coming back as soon as this week.
Yeah.
But he's got Romeo Doubs. Yeah, that's been playing. He did pretty well. Jake Ferguson, the tight end from Dallas, taking over that Schultz position, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is a pick'em for me. Like, it's a toss-up game.
Yeah.
Like, his team doesn't look that good, and if your running backs like if Joe Mixon can just fucking do what he's supposed to do, and you have Ricard White do what they're supposed to do, your receiving core with Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think you should be able to win this game. Nico Collins is a sneaky good pickup because he's the number 1 target for CJ Stroud, and he's not playing like a rookie. He's looking real fucking good, and that's his favorite target. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and give you the victory in this.
Man,
I didn't pick against you last week because
I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah, fuck that, all that noise. Or sorry, man, it's not easy.
It's okay. It's love and hate, because last time, the couple times that you picked me, I have lost. Time that you didn't pick me, I did win. But right now, here's my biggest thing that's holding me up. I have Rachaad White, who's on a bye week this week, right? So I'm desperately looking for a nice trade to have another 3rd solid running back that I can swap him out with. As of right now, I have Joshua Kelly, and who's also on a bye week, unfortunately. So I'm really in the hunt. That's fine, because I probably will win now if you didn't pick me, but I'm really in the hunt for a good running back. So league mates, make sure that you guys send me a good trade offer. I'm ready to go ahead and accept some of these. But nonetheless, I'm hoping that Kirk Cousins has a bounce back week this week. I mean, realistically, he's been averaging, he's had 300 plus yard games, multiple touchdowns in each game. Last week was a little bit of a down week. Hopefully he can bounce back. I do think, like I said, it's going to be a shootout against the Chiefs. Hopefully Justin Jefferson can keep racking up some of those touchdowns, because that Kirk, Justin Jefferson stack. They get a touchdown. You said it before, it's 10 easy points right there.
Yep.
Let's get a couple of those and let's get it going early on. I will figure out my running back situation, even if I have to look on the waiver wire, which I'm really good about doing that type of stuff.
Fair.
But nonetheless, the other thing that is the X factor here is Joe Mixon. You need to go off against Arizona this week. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't do it, I'm going to be highly upset with you. Nonetheless, even though you changed your pick and ended up going for Cade for this week, I'm going to say I'm getting my second win against Cade this week. I'm sorry to say that, brother, but on the road to 6-game win streak right here.
This motherfucker Cade has the 49ers defense and the Dallas Cowboy defense.
Wow.
And this has got to be a little bit telling about the game, because he's a Cowboy fan.
Right.
He's actually benching right now as it is the Cowboys over and picking the 49ers defense.
Wow.
So that's a little bit surprising, but it could be telling. Like, 49ers are really fucking legit, dude.
Right.
So but I don't know, man. You gotta do something.
I gotta do something.
So I'm gonna go ahead for now anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Cade, dude. And you know what, Cade, where the fuck you been, bro? Where you been at, man? I got a third mic. You could be sitting right here, over here, where the fuck you want, man. You should have been here. Anyway, here nor there at this point. But this next game is a great game and probably the matchup of the week in our fantasy football league with Chalupa Batman and the Redeem team. So both of them. So Nick is 4-0,
right?
The Redeem team, and the Chalupa Batman team is 3-1. But the thing is, I still don't feel confident in Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has to play at Indianapolis that has a pretty good run defense. So that's a big one. Chris Godwin's on a bye week. Bye weeks are actually finally starting to take effect this week, right? So this is the first time anyone has to deal with bye weeks.
Right.
So like for me, I have a bye week with the Chargers. Like you said, White has a bye week. Godwin has a bye week. So the first time in the season so far, you have to make adjustments, and deal with the bye week situation. But hear me out, Williams and Montgomery for the Lions. Look, I had a trade offer and I fucking blew it. I don't know what else to say. I fucking blew it for Montgomery for George Pickens, and I said no. Because I felt confident that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to end up being the number one running back in Detroit.
Sure.
And I was wrong.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so far, right? I mean, and again, David Montgomery has had an insane time over with the Lions right now. I actually had texted Nick earlier in the week saying, hey, trade me Montgomery, because he had him on his bench when he went off for 30-plus points last week, fantasy. But, he has him in his starting lineup this week, and rightfully so, because I do think that he has the potential to have that ability still against Carolina. Yeah, they got Brian Burns there, on the edge, and he's obviously a machine, but I think that if David Montgomery can get free and open space, it's a wrap for that.
I like it a lot. I mean, you got to think too, his starting running back is Kenneth Walker, who's an absolutely fine running back.
Yeah.
But he's on a bye week, and like, weird, let me put in David Montgomery to fucking fill in for my bye week.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in his team right now, is that he's not having any letdown and possibly has an upgrade because of the bye week by starting Montgomery.
Yeah, potentially. Now, the question here is, Kyren Williams does have a questionable tag on him. It's going to be interesting to see how he progresses over the next couple of days to see if that is an issue or not. It looks like it was a hip injury that was suffered in overtime.
Yep.
So it's worth monitoring, but if it's not a factor here by Thursday, then I don't think he has anything to worry about. Nonetheless, it's going to be an interesting game or matchup to watch. Let's see who comes out on top.
And worst case scenario, and this is worst case because you don't feel fucking confident in Najee Harris, right?
Right.
But I mean, he could play him. He does have Javon Williams, possibly as well. But fuck, dude, this pains me to say it, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick Nick on this game. The Redeem team, 5-0 start, man, unheard of. Weird. Weird.
It's insane because, prior to what you were saying earlier about how, the last couple seasons he's been under 500. If you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have believed it. I mean, the Redeem team coming in at 4-0 potentially has the potential to be 5-0. I mean, right now projections are 134.5 to 91.2. Granted, Chris Godwin is on a bye week, so Team Chalupa Batman is gonna have to have another wide receiver pickup. And if I'm correct, if I may, right here, looks like he has Jerry Jeudy on par. And that's about it. So you're gonna have to either hit the waiver wire or hope that Jerry Jeudy has a good game with the Broncos. Granted, Russell Wilson has been having 200 plus yards, 300 plus yards here and there. So maybe this is the week it connects.
I really hope Nick doesn't win, but I do think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
But going to sticking with the lean, with a rock with it. Chris, the Gooback team. What is his name? What is the fucking team name? Gooback in his teacups. Gooback in his teacups. I actually like that name. It's funny. Versus the irresistible team. Trey is 0-4, and he needs to win this game against Chris. That's a 1-6. But Anthony Richardson, as you can see, moved him up to a starting quarterback position.
Right.
Fantasy football, he's really good at it.
Yeah.
But he does have Devin Achane, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave. His team is good. But unfortunately, every team that he's played this year, basically one person has scored 30 to 40 points. 40 burger on the motherfucker, right?
Hard to beat that.
So it's hard to beat that. So his team is actually good. I do feel like his team is good. Or on the other hand, Chris has Joe Burrow, Saquon Barkley, who's still questionable, but in his starting lineup.
Yeah.
But then there's Christian Watson that was questionable. I mean, Breece Hall, great trade for Chris because he traded fucking nothing for Breece Hall.
Yeah.
And this one is a close matchup, kind of. But I'm going to be honest, I like Trey's team. I think the irresistible team, the irresistible team, is going to take a dub. Chris is going to fucking fall to 1-4, and Trey's going to get his first dub of the season.
Well, the funny thing about it is, irresistible was actually projected to win this matchup, even with having Pat Freiermuth, doubtful and it's potentially even out this week, right? At 0 fantasy points so far projected. He actually has 4 people, including him, out for this week. So yes, definitely gonna have to pick somebody up. I think that he has a good chance of this being his first win, and hopefully he can start coming up. He did have 2nd overall pick in the league. And usually when you have that high of a pick, you have valuable players. Jamar Chase, he just needs to start getting it together with Joe Burrow. I think Anthony Richardson going into his starting lineup is a good pickup against Tennessee. We'll see how that works out for him.
Yep, I like that. I like that a lot. So. The last matchup of the week for the Show Me Some TDs League is the Villain versus the Viking. The Viking is the good guy in this one, I swear. Not even looking at this yet, but to be fair, I'm so sick of the fucking Villain. Just like, he's the Joker. He's just fucking winning.
Right.
If you're good at something, don't do it for free. And he's absolutely beating everyone that he's played so far. But this week against the Viking, Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has a really tough matchup against the 49ers.
He does.
Calvin Ridley had a nice game. Devontae Smith had a really mid game. It's a really good matchup because, again, Kamaro's back. So that's a big difference maker in this matchup. But I really feel like the Villain is a little bit vulnerable because he gave up so much. And at the time, it wasn't that much because he's, you get Brandon Ayuk in that trade.
Right. And
he scored 20 points first week back, right? Fully healthy. But you're losing out on 2 starting running backs. And again, if you look at the ESPN rankings who play on ESPN, that's why I say this. But he actually traded 2 top 10 running backs. And he got Brandon Ayuk, which is a borderline top 10 receiver. So, and Mostert scored 4 points in fantasy football. So, you know what? I don't even care. I don't care what the projections say. I do not give a shit. I am not picking the Villain. We're all about the good guys. Keep your negativity over there. We're all about positive shit over here. Give me the Vikings in this game. The Viking himself, Daniel, baby. Happy Customs LLC.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I think that it's going to be a good matchup projection-wise. I do like his name, obviously, Federal Bureau of Titties, going against the Villain. Again, the Villain is a villain for a reason, right? I think that he's got everybody hating on him, and it's probably feeling a little bit of his energy going into it. And if I was him, I would continue to do the same thing, because at the end of the day, you're having the last laugh going 4-0. But this is a really good chance for him to potentially get that L. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that trade that had happened did put him at a lower standpoint than where he was before the trade. And you have to keep that in mind long term. It's not a short term game. This season is not just 5 or 6 weeks, right? I think for our for our league, it actually goes up to 14 before it gets into the post game. That's a whole nother 9 weeks to go. You got Mostert, which is not a bad running back, but now with Achane coming into play and being, taking over that role, there's a good chance that he steps down, and all you really have to rely on as far as your running back core is CMC.
Jeff Wilson's coming back.
Jeff Wilson is a good coming back, so maybe, but then again, that's a running back by committee team at that point, if that's the case, and if Jeff Wilson is up to par. If not, it's Achane, Mostert, and I think Achane takes in most of the snaps.
So you have the Viking winning this game.
I have the Viking winning this game, although I do feel for the villain a little bit, because even bad guys, you got to feel a little bit bad for him. But I'm hoping that the Viking wins this game, gives the first L. Hope he gets the first L. I'm sorry to say that there, man, but hey,
look, again,
it's gonna be a good matchup.
I hope you use this villain persona that you have in our league, in our group chat, in your real fucking life, man. I'm gonna be real honest. Have that confident. You could do whatever you want. Have that fucking belief in yourself, because you're doing it right now. No one else believes in you. You said it. I got all these doubters. I got all these haters. They hate for whatever fucking reason. But you know what? Keep that shit. Keep that same energy in every single thing that you're doing right now.
Agreed.
Because you're winning in fantasy football. Use that same shit and go win at life, man. But let's be honest. I'm going to call some bullshit on Edwin. The reason he's fucking picking the Viking team is because Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, and Evan Ingram are on the Viking team. Weird. He's got the fucking ultimate. Besides Travis Etienne, he's got the ultimate Jaguar stack.
And when he was drafting this team and he was picking all these Jags fans, I was actually pretty excited for him. First of all, it was good to see another Jags fan on this side of the coast, right? There's not a lot of Jags fans on the West Coast, unfortunately.
Fake Seahawks fan. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
But nonetheless, you do have to, have an affinity for Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, coming in there and making an impact off the bat, right? I'm an Evan Ingram fan as a tight end. Unfortunately, in a different league, I picked Kyle Pitts over him last week. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry to do that to the Jags faithful. But again, this week going up against Buffalo, there's a good chance it becomes a shootout within its own, right? We have the playmakers to make it happen on the Jags offense, and we just need to be able to make sure that our line can block long enough for Trevor Lawrence to be able to make these throws.
Awesome. So those are our pick'ems, not only for, and I'll post a video later, but about, who I'm thinking each matchup is in the NFL, who I think is going to win. But those are our Show Me Some TDs pick'ems for week 5. And you know what? Again, I hope the villain loses. I hope I beat fucking Taco, because I don't want to go below 500. I don't know what that's like. I know you're already there, but look, I don't know what that's like, man. And I don't want to continue that shit, man. just to be fair, but
again, it's a comeback story. I'm ready to go up. It's a long season. I'm ready to show you guys what I'm made of.
Hey, you're happy you're not the new guy no more, huh? You're fucking the Catalina wine mixing team. You're fucking Ed winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. They call him Ed Him from time to time.
Thank you for watching Show Me Some TDs. Make sure you hit the download, like, and subscribe button and stay tuned for more Show Me Some TDs.